Hello everybody. In this video we're going to talk about one important feature in Microsoft Excel that is needed in many cases. And I believe most of the audiences of this video would have passed by similar situations before. So let's say we have a file like a PDF file like this, and the PDF file contains tabulated data like the ones we see here. So these are the tube arrangements, or the number of tubes in the shell and tube heat exchanger with the internal shell diameter and the for different number of buses. And I want to use this data, so I want to take a copy of this data, put them in my Excel sheet so that I can use them in any other calculations later. So what we would do is simply I would go and choose all these data, copy them, and I'm gonna paste them here. But this is what happened. This is a big problem actually, because this is what like rules our all what we need to do. The data are not transferred or copied from here to here as table. However, the Microsoft Excel sees these as numbers that are separated with spaces. So it's gonna be very like time-consuming process to break these or split these numbers into columns and do all this work manually. And it might be like easier to copy the data or I mean type the data manually instead of copying and pasting, because this is like a hassle. And especially if you have some of these cells that are empty, then you might by splitting the cells you might have some numbers in a wrong place. So this is a big problem actually. So what we're gonna do today is to see how can Microsoft Excel help us to save our time and do this work right without doing any manual work. So this is something that we can find here in data tab. I mean data ribbon. There is a button here that's called get data. So what it says here is that it's easily discover, connect, and combine data from multiple sources, and then shape and refine it to meet your needs. So it's exactly what we need to do. It will connect to the PDF file, get the data, and refine them so that they are in a tabulated data as they were here. So the options here are many. So you have option to extract from Microsoft Excel file, from CSV file, XML, PDF, whatever. There are other database things that I have no idea about, so I don't know them and I haven't used them before. And from other sources like table, from web, from like many other things that I don't know. What I usually use, or what I usually do is get data from either a PDF file or from a website. So the first thing we will do is to go for a PDF file. So definitely the first thing that's gonna ask about is where is this PDF. So this is what's doing now. You need to browse your computer to find out where is the PDF. So I have it here. I need to just copy. Oops, I copied this and paste it here. And here in the PDF file it's named table count tables. So this is the file. So what the software is doing now is it's connecting to the PDF file and exploring the type of data that it can get and refine, so that I can choose from them which one I want to import to my Excel file. So this file is 7 pages. There is no table in the first page, but I have like 6 pages of tables. So what I'm having here is exactly what I expected. I have 6 tables, each in one of the pages. It's page 2. This is the table. Page 3. This is the table. 4, 5, 6, 7. So you pick whatever one of them that you need. But the good thing is that it understands now, or it converts this into a table. It's not like copying and pasting the same way that we did before. You will find many things here that I have no idea about. There are some like more things that you can see. Oops, I did it by mistake. Anyway, so it's now getting the data. I need to um, Anyway, so this is a good thing. This is a new page. Actually, this is the first thing that you need to notice, that this is a new page, and that there is something that's called here queries and connections, and it says there is one thing here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna delete this. Um, I don't have the data now, and I'm gonna do it one more time um, uh, by getting data and from a PDF file. Again, I'm gonna go to the same file. So this is because I used a wrong table from the tables that here. So I want table one, and I'm gonna load. So it's gonna open a new tab here. As you see, it's table 001, and now it's getting data, so it's connecting. You see there is like something here telling that I'm waiting for the data. And if you compare what I have here to what I used to have before, you would see that it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. So it's six columns and rows from 8 to 45, and the data are ready for me to use. The one thing that I personally don't like, might be something that other people would like to do, but it's not something I want to, or I like, which is that it is in a table format, the Microsoft Excel table format. I don't like this. It does automatic filtering, it does automatic formatting to the table, and it's great, but I don't like it. So what I do is to convert this into a range. Um, the reason I don't like it, because it restricts the control over the table, so you cannot merge cells, you cannot do some things that I personally do a lot, so I don't feel happy working with it, with the table formatting. Anyway, so the good news now is that I have all the data here. If you compare this to this, you'll find that it's perfect. There is no problems here. Now let's see if I have data on a website. So here is a website that I have similar table in, and I want to import the data. So I'm gonna copy the URL to this file, and I'm gonna again go data and get data, and now from other sources from the web. Again, these are the only two things that I use this option to. So maybe you can use the other options if you face like other situations, or you have data in different file types. Anyway, so it's now connecting or establishing connection. Of course, in this case, you have to have an active internet connection so that the software can connect to the website and find out what kind of data is there. In this case, it might take some time depending on the website and the speed of your internet connection, but it should work in most of the cases. So now it's giving you some things. You would find some weird like tables that are there. I don't really care about them, but what I care about is that my data are here. And with like a quick comparison between what you have here and what you have here, you can make sure that it's working. It seems good to me. So I'm gonna load the file, and again it's gonna take like a few seconds till everything is here. So I have all the data, and again you can I would convert this into range, and and you see it's 1/8, 1/4, and up down to 36. Maybe it picked another table or so, I'm not sure, but this is the table. I don't know where is this 36. It seems like there are some data that are extra data. Maybe they're not shown because I'm minimizing the window. Maybe it took the other one. I'm not sure. Maybe I took the. Oh, it's the second table. It's not the first one. So again, it's good that I did this mistake, because like it's something that you definitely face if you like have similar situations. So now it's again establishing the connection, and it's important for you to compare what you get with what you uh, or from with the source to make sure that everything is fine. And actually I was gonna do this, but it's gonna be like after this. So yeah, I think this is the data that yeah, okay, so this is the data that I want. So it's gonna open a new file, I mean a new sheet. It's now getting data, and yeah, that's it. So the first column here is because there was like a merged row here in the very beginning, and it didn't understand it because it, again, it's a table, so it doesn't deal with merged data. But anyways, you can get rid of this simply by deleting the column, and now the data are here. You can compare it, and it's working fine. The last thing that I wanna, or it's not the last thing. The good thing about the getting data option in Microsoft Excel is that it saves all the data that was got. So I have here four things here, and each one of them is corresponds to one of the options that I had, or from the data that I got. So for instance, I deleted this, and I want to get this again. So I don't have to go through the whole thing one more time. So I know that this is table 0, and if you like put the mouse here, it should give you a preview of the data. And oh, yeah, this is the data that I wanted. I deleted them by mistake, or not by mistake, but I want to restore it. Instead of going through the whole process from the very beginning, you can, by right click, you can load to, and then it's asking, it's gonna be a table that you're gonna load it to, and in this case I want it to be in cell A1, for instance. So it's gonna be cell A1, and I'm gonna press OK, and it's gonna do everything as it did last time, establish the connection and get the data, and it's here without doing all the work again. So this is great, and this works for either you're going for or getting data from a PDF file, you're getting this from an online source. It's gonna work anyways. The last thing that I want to mention here is related to what we did in this table, and this is like a common thing as well. This table, was no problem with this table except for the first row, which was like not a big deal. But here you would see that for each cell there are two values, one in inches and one in millimeters. So you have two values per cell, and the software did not understand that there are two different values. You would see, like for instance, in column 5S, the first value should be 0.065 and 0.53, oops, it's 0.5383. So these are two different values, but what I see here is 0.065, 0.5383. So it doesn't understand that this is like, or there are two different values. So this is something that I have to like solve, because the data are wrong. They're not exported in the right way. So to do this, I'm gonna do this one more time to get data from an online source, because there is a good option that can help you edit the data before you put them here. Of course, you can split the cell into two columns, or the column into two columns, and put a delimiter or whatever. But this is gonna be something that would take you some editing in the table. You have to add a new column to free space for the data that are gonna be added. But in the option that I'm gonna tell you about now, it's gonna be a bit easier. It's not gonna be like a lot different, but it's gonna give you some flexibility to edit the data. So this is this is the first the table that we want. Here we would see there is a table, or a button called transform data. So the transform data button simply will open for you what's called the Power Query Editor. It is one of the options in Excel that will help you, or will let you do some edits to the data before you export them or import them to Microsoft Excel. So for instance, I have here the data, and I want to split these data into, like what we said, into two columns. So you can do split column either by delimiter or by number of characters or by position or whatever. So you can try them, but the easier option for me is going to be by the number of characters, because the enter is not like one of the delimiters that you can at least I cannot specify. So I would say 4 characters. I have a point and then 3 decimal places, so they are 4 characters, and I'm gonna press OK. So now it did all the work for me. It broke this into 2 columns. Each one of them has numbers, and it's working nicely, no problems. And now I can load it to Microsoft Excel. Is going to open a new tab, and in this case we will not have the problem with this column that we did the work for. So it's gonna be okay, and the numbers are fine. You can use them, and you can repeat it for the rest of the columns. Of course, it's a headache, I know, but it's way easier than copying and pasting the data and then breaking them manually one by one. You can do this, all of this in the query editor. And again, all these edits are saved in the query here. So you see it's now broken into 5S1, 5S2, 5S3. So the data are saved, and once you do it, it's going to be saved until you delete it or you close the file or whatever. So I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next video, inshallah. Goodbye.